AgweekTV weather is brought to you by Kaler Farms.
Weather portion of Ag Week. Now, the more things have changed the last couple of months, the more they have stayed the same. Another round of flooding rains in the upper Midwest, parts of the Great Plains the last week, and potential for more rainfall here the next few days. The pattern continues to be warmer than average, so it's that combination of warm and wet that really started itself in the earlier part of summer and continues now as we get through the mid part of September. In this particular round, it's high humidity. Not so much like high summertime humidity in the northern plains, but from about South Dakota, southern Minnesota southward, it's been a lot like summer the last few days, and more of that on the way. What's happened is this: the jet stream pattern has gone into a very high amplitude pattern across North America. And this particular part has done a couple of things. It's brought a low pressure system off the west coast, and this lower part of the jet has tapped into the residual moisture from a weak tropical system which moved ashore in California late last week. And that tropical moisture is one of the reasons why we've been seeing so much rainfall. Well, this low now in a weakened state will continue to meander through the central plains. I don't think it has the punch that it did over the weekend and late last week, but it's still going to be probably some wet weather for parts of the Great Plains, maybe the northern Great Plains. And notice also the primary jet really is cut off from this little circulation, and that's going to keep the Arctic air and the cold weather pretty well stuck up in the Arctic. So the pattern across much of the central and northern United States will be not only a fairly wet one, but also a fairly warm one. All week long, this low is going to slowly track east. As it finally moves east, potential is there for warm, but maybe a little bit drier weather for at least a few days. Here's what we're looking at. First of all, as we go to the forecast, in terms of temperatures, and in general, just as over the next 2 weeks, I'm expecting a lot of above average weather over the central and eastern United States. The only place that will be cool, I think, will be the Rocky Mountains. But from the southwest through the south up through the Middle West, some above average temperatures. And in terms of rainfall, this week will continue to be fairly wet. First of all, tropical moisture continues in the southeast this time of year. Much of the western United States, I think, will be quite dry this week. There will be areas of fairly heavy rainfall from the northern Great Plains, the Great Lakes, back down through the Middle West as far as this week goes. Next week, it still will be wet, hopefully not quite as consistently wet in the northern plains, but the potential is there. The west coast area is still looking pretty dry. Tropical moisture down along the Gulf, and hopefully things will slow down, but it still looks like a wet 2-week period for much of the northern plains. So here we are in the middle of fall, still looking at the potential for heavy rain. The Arctic air is stuck up in the north, so the first half of fall looks wet. The second half, probably a bit drier, but we'll see.